The definition of a warrior is this. It's a person who is engaged or experienced in warfare, like a soldier. And then the second the second point that I have is, it's a person who has shown great vigor, courage, or aggressiveness. And how often is it that we envision something great to happen in our lives, that we would do something of great vigor, or that we could be known as like a soldier for something that we want to stand up for? And so we're like, you guys, most of you here are the White County Warriors. And so you have like this sense of soldierness, that you have this sense of pride or an aggressiveness to your name. But how is it that we become the warriors that we want to be? How do we become the warriors that we want to dream of? So, it's easy to sit aside and not take action. It's easy to wear the war paint and put it on and say, I'm a warrior. But it's another thing to say, I'm going to put this war paint on and become a real warrior. And so I kind of think of it like this. When I was a kid, me and my sister would always want to go do stuff, or we'd want to go buy something. And we didn't have money, so we had to go ask mom and dad. I don't know if you guys do this. I think you do. So you're with your friends or with your family like I was, and you want to do something, you go, no, you ask. Why don't you go ask? And you'd be like, no, why don't you go ask? Do you guys do that? Yes. Yeah, you go ask, or you want to put it off because you don't want to ask, because for some reason we think that we'll either get in trouble or think that they'll look at us like we're crazy, so we're like, no, you ask. And that's what we do, and that's what it's like whenever we put the war paint on, but we really don't take to heart what a warrior is. And it's the same way for us and what God has in store for us. If we feel pressed about something, we're like, man, I really need to do this, but I don't think I can do this. And sometimes we just we miss out on things and opportunities that God has for us because we never strike at these opportunities where we may feel called to be. But whether it's like, no, you should go do this, or I don't know if I can do this, we always have like these little insecurities about ourselves that's like, I want to be a warrior, but I really don't think that's for me, or I feel like God's telling me to do something, or I feel like I should do something, but I can't. And so there's this big struggle we have with facing who we should be and how do we get there. Well, the good news is we've got a perfect example today of who did that. Now, we'll find that in the Old Testament, there was a woman named Deborah. And it's someone you don't really hear often because she's only in like one chapter of the Bible. But she's got a huge role to play for our lives. She struggled with the same dilemma that we struggle with. And that was, she had a vision of what she should do, but she put it on someone else. So let's turn to Judges 4:4-10. Now, Deborah was a prophetess and a wife of Lapidoth. She was judging at Israel at that time, and she used to sit under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim. And the people of Israel came up to her for judgment. Now, real quick, we'll stop there. Deborah was a judge. And at this time, there wasn't any kings or presidents or anything like that. So what a judge did was that they judged people. And so Deborah had authority. But not only that, people respected her authority. It says in that last part of it that people came to her for judgment. So she had authority as a judge, and she had respect for it as well. Now, as we learned this last week in Exodus, Israel was in trouble. All through the book of Judges, we find that there are different judges that take place, and the common pattern within it is Israel messes up, and then God fixes the problem. Then Israel messes up again, and then God says, let's fix the problem. And here in this particular place, Israel was yet in trouble again. And so Deborah was going to fix the problem. It goes on to say in the next verse, she sent and summoned Barak, the son of Abinoam, from Kadesh, Naphtali, and said to him, has the Lord, the God of Israel, commanded you, go gather your men at Mount Tabor, taking 10,000 from the people of Naphtali and the people from Zebulun. And I will draw out of Sisera the general of Jabin's army to meet you by the river of Kishon, with his chariots and troops, and I will give him into your hand. Barak said to her, if you will go with me, I will go. But if you do not go with me, I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with you. Nevertheless, the road on which you are going will not lead to your glory, for the Lord will sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. Then Deborah arose and went with Barak and Kadesh, and Barak called out of Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and 10,000 men went up at his heels, and Deborah went up with him. So one of the cool things that we need to focus on real quick is that one of the coolest parts of this part is Deborah points back to Barak and says, God's told you to do this. But Barak points back at her and says, no, God's told you to do this. But if you will go with me, or if you go, I will go. And I think the funny part is that she's like, all right. She goes, I'm going to go. But ain't no way I'm going to get glory for this. It's all me. And so she takes victory, and she says that it's the woman that's going to get the victory. So I thought that was cool. But Deborah knew what had to be done. Yet she put it on Barak and said, this is your baby. You need to do this. And Barak told her, like, no, you need to do it. And she didn't see that. So why would Deborah do this? If she had the vision, and she was this great judge that was feared and respected, why would she back out of something that God was telling her to do? Maybe it was fear. I could mess up. The Bible doesn't really say why she would do it, why she would back out of doing something, why she felt the need to call someone else. Maybe it was uncertainty. How am I supposed to do this? What can I do? Or maybe she didn't think she was qualified enough. I can't do this. I can't do this. But when she was finally confronted with what Barak told her, she's like, okay, I'm going to go. She wasn't probably too happy about it, but she said I was going to go. So Deborah had to realize something. Deborah had to realize, in order for her to step up, that there was 3 things that she had to realize about herself. First of all, Deborah was called. She already had the place of authority, and she knew what to do. She had the vision. All she had to do was implement her vision, so she was called to her vision. And she was qualified. She was a judge. She was a leader for Israel, and she could take leadership over this whole thing and tell the people where to go. But then she was also affirmed in doing the right thing. Barak said, no, you need to go. This is yours. This is your battle, but I'll go with you. So after she came to the realization, she knew what she had to do. And if you read the end of the story, it's crazy. God sends another woman to help Deborah, and they have victory. And if you, like I said, if you read the rest of chapter 4, you'll read that God gave them victory with the people because of the leadership, because Deborah stepped in. What would have happened if Deborah wouldn't have stepped in? It could have been that what she had wanted, what she had thought was supposed to do but wasn't done, who knows, maybe Israel would have been in captivity for longer. So here's what the story is instructing us to do as warriors. It's easy to put the war paint on. It's easy to put it on and say, I'm a warrior, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. It's the challenge, though, to implement it into what you want to be and to be that person that you're called to be. So where is God calling us today? Is it to stick up for someone that's let you down? Do you have dreams and desires that God's given you, that you have in your heart, that you have plans and goals? For me, it was being that superhero, but now it's something different. It's the need to want to help people, but in a different way. And in that same way, you guys also have this call. You guys all have this desire to help people, and God has that in store for you guys today too. And you have what it takes to get there, just like Deborah had. She had the authority to carry it out and do it. And for us today, maybe it's boldness, maybe it's courage, maybe it's taking that next step, or maybe you need to implement some skills or some mentors into your life. We get up in our small groups, you can talk about, I really want to do this, but I really don't know how to do it. So how do I do it? And we can talk about that. And then, with the last one, affirmation. You got to know if it's good, it's good. And so whenever you're affirmed, like, yes, it's the right thing, yes, it's the right thing, if you're not facing any adversary against it, if you're not having anything coming against you, and it's for the goodness of God, it's for the good of others, you know it's right. So it's just a matter of taking these things that God's telling you, you're qualified, you're good, you've got the skills, and people are encouraging you, and God's encouraging you, and you feel real good about it. See, we can all be warriors. We all can step up and be warriors that we want to be. But until we take the action to really say to ourselves, okay, I can do this. We can do it. Let's go ahead and pray real quick. God, we thank you so much, Lord,